Right, we got a PS5 in with overheating issues. I already like scrubbed it a little bit with my brush and vacuumed, and it still has like a weird layer of like dirt on it. I think it's just stuck. Oh, if I turn it on, it might work, right? But yeah, I think it's just like a stuck layer of dirt. Which, on these consoles, if you try to clean them out by blowing, which it looks like this one did have it, not too sure, may not have had it, but if you try to blow these out with compressed air in a can, some of them have like chemicals in them that sprays into the fan and like into the system, and actually causes the dirt to get stuck. So it'll blow off like bigger chunks, but then like the smaller amount of dirt will just get stuck inside the console. And it won't allow for it to come out very easily. Even being agitated, it won't come out very easy. You gotta be careful with the kind of compressed air you use to clean it out. If you're using like an air compressor, with like a tool on the end of it, that's fine. But like those air cans, you gotta be careful. They say for electronics, and then it's got like all this spray stuff that shoots out of it. So who knows if it's actually for electronics, but it looks like something might have been spilled in here. Yeah. Don't know what that could have been, but it caused some corrosion there. I'm not too sure what kind of metal this is. It's probably like an aluminum alloy or something, but if that's water, I don't think that's water. I was gonna say, if that's water, whew, this thing is dirty in there. That's why it's overheating. So it didn't look too bad from the outside, but, and he doesn't have the side panels on. Remember how I always tell you, if you don't have the side panels on, and you're running your PlayStation, it just turns straight into a vacuum? That's exactly what it did here. It turned into a vacuum. Literally, look at this. Let's see if we can show you a better angle. You see all that? Now go look inside your vacuum. Looks exactly like this. You can't even see the slats in the heat sink back there. That's what I always tell people. Gotta leave your side panels on. And they take it off because they think taking it off is gonna help prevent the overheating from happening. It's just gonna make it 10 times worse. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. I don't feel like showing that on here, so it'll take up too much space and it's just extremely loud. But I'm gonna vacuum and brush this panel here, and then probably as far as I can get inside of here until we can disassemble it without getting dust everywhere. Alright, so it already looks like 5,000 times better. So this will not prevent the overheating issue yet though. Just a little bit of vacuuming out and cleaning out doesn't really solve the main issue here, which we'll probably see once we get all these screws out. I'll check it out though. Alright, I feel like this is gonna take forever. I'm just gonna pause it and then resume in a minute. I almost fell asleep with how slow that was, but at least I have no straining, right? No straining on my shoulder there, and that's exactly why I needed that tool, so. And I'm not gonna sacrifice showing you the whole unscrewing all those screws and fast forward, because as I've said in one of my older videos, I'd rather have a 4K video where I skip me just unscrewing a bunch of screws, because it's not really informative. But those programs only, unless you pay for them, they only let you download in 1080, and I'm not gonna do that because I want 4K. I'd rather have quality video Oh, you can see that the overheating issue there is also due to the fact that there's absolutely no liquid metal here and here. It doesn't look like there's too much damage, but we'll have to remove that and see. However, I'm not going to sacrifice the video quality for speeding up unscrewing screws, just to show you that I'm unscrewing screws. So we're going to get this cleaned off here, and once we get it cleaned off, we're going to, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, once we extract all the liquid metal off of there, we're going to clean underneath it and check out the damage, see what's going on with it. Alright, so there is actually significant damage. So you see how like that, and it's not so much just in that spot, it's actually more so those little things that are like reaching down there. See how they're kind of like silverish, and when you come down they're darker here? That's actually like a buildup, and that's what I have to scratch off with the razor blade. So this console definitely has experienced some crazy overheating, and that's definitely why it came in. Probably due to the fact that the heatsink was completely blocked with dust. You know, that definitely doesn't help. So, plus the console was standing up, blah, 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 the whole original spiel. So, yeah, we need to get that scraped off with a razor blade, but first we're going to clean underneath here. All right, we're going to go ahead and pop this panel off here. I got all the screws out. And you can see there's a good buildup of dust inside of there. I'm going to take a closer look at it. I'm going to vacuum this one off first because all of this will fly around my shop and I don't need that. So, all right, so there's the bottom side of that panel, nice and clean now. And now we're gonna get in here, and as per usual, the most dust buildup is right in here, and that usually comes from the fan blowing the air through here. And because it was a vacuum without side panels, it blew all of the dust down in here, creating an excellent heat source for the power supply and the heat sink. So extreme overheating issues. Let me go ahead and pop this out here and see the full dirtiness. Oh yeah, look at that nice little chunk down in there, huh? And then all built up in there. Yeah, this thing was not breathing at all, right? Probably breathing like a COPD person, unfortunately. There she is, nice and cleaned out. So, we got the power supply all cleaned out here. Just gonna put that sucker back in. Make sure these antennas are stacked up right here. And then we'll get the heat sink put on, which that's it there, as you can see. Now it can breathe, right? No more COPD. All right. Got everything crashing down over here. It's all right. And then we're gonna get the side panel put back on here. We'll get that screwed in, and then we'll clean that up, razor it off, and do the same thing for the APU side. And then put the liquid metal back on. That's about as good as it's gonna get. So you can see that it's not as silvery. There is some little like silver spots down there. But other than that, it's a pretty smooth surface. So that damage will not come out. No matter what you do, it will not come out. Like I've said in previous videos, you can sand it down or whatever, but you know, you risk sanding it down too much, and I don't know the limits between the heatsink and the APU. There could be like a certain depth in between each one of them that it needs to have in order for the APU to stay secure in place. So, but yeah, it's smooth. I know it's ugly, but it's smooth. So we're gonna put the liquid metal back on this, and then we'll move over to the motherboard. All right, sorry for my weird hand placement here, but you see like those gray spots right there? Those are like the silver spots that were on the heatsink. So those are like buildups that need to be scraped off with a razor blade. It's still shiny and stuff, as you can see there, but obviously those are the buildups. And all those buildups that you see there need to be scraped off. If it's not an even surface, the liquid metal will continue to cause problems. All right, so here it is, cleaned up. It's actually really hard to get it to focus on the imperfections now, because there's almost none there. Let's see, I can't really. Anyways, yeah, so the razor blade, we can see barely, yeah. Anyways, yeah, the razor blade did its job. So made that surface as smooth as possible. That liquid metal is gonna have no problem sticking now. There is almost very little to no imperfections left. So excellent repair. We're gonna get the liquid metal put back on here to the window to the other universe there. And that is how you apply the liquid metal. See that perfect application there. And just as perfect application here on the APU. So this sucker is ready to put back together. Overheating issues will be non-existent now. Alright, we have the board placed back on inside the console here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together now. Starting with the bracket here, of course. And whenever I tighten this one, I always tighten from the bottom to the top because I want that liquid metal to squeeze up. I don't want it to push down. So at least that's how I think it works. You know, it might work like that, it might not. So alright, I'm gonna start putting everything back together. May fast forward a little bit or just skip the screws here. I'm probably just gonna skip the screws, but yep, I'm gonna get this panel put back on here and screw her down. Alright, so we got that side panel on there. We're just gonna put the antennas back on here. Then we'll put the disk drive back here. Plug it in. Alright, we'll put the side tray on. Screw this down. I'm gonna need to get a new bit here pretty soon. It's skipping a little too much. And we'll get the fan and everything installed. I'm gonna cut this short for time. Alright, so we got everything put back together. Now we just need to put this 2 screws in on the other side. This console will be good to go. He did not drop off the side panels with it though. But when he picks it up, I'm going to tell him he needs those side panels back on. Otherwise he's going to run into the same issue in the future. So this was a cleaning. Thanks for watching. Reaper's out.